Hello, everybody. Welcome to the gaming marketplace, where you don't invest with your money, but with your time. And today we are live, and I can see that Sansa's Cool has joined the chat. So I'm glad that you came in just on time. So today, the main focus of today is that we're gonna be looking at some of these games that you guys have suggested, and I created a little bit of a, let me just show you a little bit of a, where are you? Did I not add it here? There it is. No, I could have sworn it was around here somewhere, but I can just add it myself. So, yeah, this, no, I could have sworn. Well, thank you very much. Honestly, thank you for being here early for it. I try to be on time. It's 7 and I'm here, so I try to take everybody's time. I value everybody's time. So thank you for being here. So I'll show it this way because I made a little bit of a game wheel where I've included a lot of the suggestions that you guys have left me for me to cover those games. So unless you have any specific requests, I'll just be going with whatever the wheel lands on. And then the graph will look a little bit like this. You're going to be seeing something similar to this on screen. And then we'll be able to kind of go through them and see how they behave. And then we can do our own little research on our end as well. We can start looking into the behavior, the history regarding its Twitch, how many people are maybe making videos of it and streaming it live on Twitch, and seeing if that maybe affected the score. Or we can look at player counts. That's definitely one of the things we look at. We can look at sales. We can also look at some stuff like how many videos. If we go to YouTube and you kind of filter by date, you can kind of see how many videos and how many views that got. So there's a couple different things that we can do once we start looking at these games and their score to justify any like big spikes or maybe a lot of the valleys that we might see going forward. So unless you have any specific recommendations, I am okay with just going ahead and spinning this wheel. I keep hearing some like notification sounds, but I'm being completely honest. I do not see anything whenever I hear those notification sounds. So once again, it's a learning curve. This is really new for me, but we'll get through it together. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our little wheel here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but a little wheel, and we're just gonna start with one random. Okay. So, let's see here. Let's see what we're going to look at first. Oh, there you go. And what a great way to start. Let's start with one of the classics. So, Portal 2 is definitely one of the games that I grew up with while playing it. I don't know if you have played it yourself, but I really enjoyed playing Portal 2. I used to be obsessed with its story and everything. So you can imagine how amazing it is. The witty banter and everything. I've played both 1 and 2, and it's just an amazing experience overall. But if I go ahead here, and I'm just putting in real quick the game so we can actually take a look at it. Portal 2. Let's see what we get from this. There we go, and then I can just do this. I'll just name this stream. And then we'll there, and now I should be able to find it, and we can give it a look. See, where are you? Should be in here, and then where are you? There it is. And then we just gotta look. Where are you saving it? Where did my computer save it? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So it should open it. Perfect. Okay. So this, and I'll show you on screen now, is the data that we have for Portal 2. So here it is. So, and maybe we can make that a little bit bigger. I'll be able to manipulate it, and we can zoom in and stuff. But just looking at it in a very top view, you know, over the top view of it, you can kind of see that the game has on average in the last year been somewhat, you know, 12 to 15 gems on average. But we do see a spike here on, when is this? So with stuff like fan games effects gems, not really. So, oh, actually, now you mentioned that, I could probably search around to see, but not right now is the answer, right? I hadn't even considered that part. Unless people are playing, are like live streaming that fan game using the same portal, category on Twitch, or they're using the same portal category on YouTube, it would not register it. At least in the content side of things, it would register it if it's at least recognized as portal. But it might, stuff like, obviously, it's game statistics. Like if people are playing a fan game, that fan game would probably appear as its own thing. It wouldn't appear as part of Portal. So if they have a fan game and it's on Steam, I should be able to like search for one of those fan games, and then I might be able to find some values for that specific game. But it's categorized as its own thing. That is curious though. I wonder if I could update the codes in some way to kind of recognize the franchise and be able to group it together. But as of right now, that's not something. That's definitely something we can work towards in the future, though. But the part of the chart, which graph am I covering? What are you able to see? I could assume you guys could see the whole thing. Also, graph covers part of the of the chat. Okay, let me make that smaller then. That smaller. There you go. There you go. I think that will look good right next to the chat. Okay. So, is there like a specific game, a specific like fan game that you were looking for that maybe I could check if I have data of? Because if there is, maybe we can check it and see what we get. Okay, well that's fair. I mean, it's definitely something that I can look more into and see how it manifests here in the data. But if we look at Portal 2 right now, we can see that on April 14th, it saw a spike of reaching 44 gems. Honestly, really interesting why it spiked in that weekend. I must assume that they're just looking at it. I must assume that there must be like either a streamer or like a content creator out there that suddenly decided to do either a blind run or decided to do content on Portal 2 or replay it, and maybe that's why we see this spike here. But we can check that ourselves if we just go ahead, and I'll move this out for a bit while I go look for the Steam page. So if you give me a bit, I can look for some additional data on there. So this is usually the process I go through whenever I'm making the shorts covering of a game, I look at its value, and from that, I try to basically figure out what really is influencing that, what caused either the peak or the valley. So there's a couple places I look for data on. So since I'm assuming it might be either like somebody Twitch or YouTube making content about it, I'm gonna first go to twitchtracker.com, and then in twitchtracker.com we should be able to find I can search Portal 2 and see what we see there, and then I'll share my screen soon enough. So we'll do that. That's here. Yep. All right. So this is Portal 2. So let's go ahead and search it. I'm not a robot. That's perfectly fine. And here's Portal 2. All right. So just looking at the recent values, since we have here, it doesn't seem like we saw. Wait, was it April? This is February. Doesn't seem like there was any particular. Oh, actually, this one kind of correlates with the time we saw. Yeah, you're not wrong. That can definitely influence, but I mean, at that point, it's something that I don't really have control over. I can only hope that people categorize what they're spending their time in correctly, and those views will affect it. I mean, it also affects what we're seeing here, so I definitely can see how that would skew results a little bit. But from what I'm seeing regarding April, where are you? Regarding April, I mean, I don't see any like particularly high spikes to warrant this jump in value over here. Let's go ahead and check real quick the actual maybe player count. Why would the player count for Portal go higher though? Let's go ahead and check first. Let's see why. Maybe it went on sale and a lot of people bought it, and that could have raised its value. Let's see here. Portal 2. So, how long ago was it since you played this game, by the way? I'm assuming you played it when you were a kid, or way before, probably closer to when it actually launched. Okay, let's see here. February, so this is what I'm seeing right now. In February, October. Yeah. All right, that tracks. Oh wait, actually, did you? No, was that Portal 2 or Portal 1? The one that was in the orange box, I think it was called. The one that where you got the TF. I think it's Portal 1. You got TF2, Portal 1, and I think Half-Life. Orange box. I remember that when it came out. I don't really see right now, at least from the bird's eye view, why on April in particular it went and spiked up. Am I looking at the right April? Yeah, it's 2025. It's April of 2025. Oh, I wonder what. Maybe more videos on YouTube? Or maybe sales. Let me check sales. Maybe the sales is one of the reasons why it might have gone up. Did it go on sale? Where's the history? There it is. April. It does seem like it went on sale, but it says here it's March, not April. Doesn't seem like it went on sale, actually. And if we take a look at, I guess, is there any more data? No spike. There was no update. I don't expect there to be an update. Is there a possibility that gems can go beyond Steam and go onto other game marketplaces like GameJolt or itch.io? Right now, no, but I could check, because it's itch.io and on all these stuff. It all depends on whether I can actually access their data if they allow me to do it. I know that Steam is very friendly, and that's why it's a lot easier to take it from Steam. But if those websites allow, even if it's just, you know, I have to, maybe not an API, but maybe they allow me to like just grab the data directly from their website, I might be able to incorporate it into the value of the gems. But let me write that down. GameJolt and itch.io. I'll definitely check that. So it's like fan games and GameJolt and itch.io. I'm assuming that those would be really good sources to have, because I'm assuming a lot of indie games would probably go directly through there. I plan at some point seeing if I can access stuff like the games that they publish for like game jams and stuff like that. A lot of developers go on those game jams and create games, although they usually end up on Steam eventually. It'd be interesting to see if I can also get that kind of stuff. And there's I know somebody in the Discord had asked for if we could include in our data one of I think they were the developer themselves, but it was a web service game. Like it's a game that they're running completely through like their own website. They don't have it anywhere else. And I was like, that's perfectly doable. All I would need to do is you know, they would have to allow me access to the data that they use to track how many people are playing the game themselves. But if the devs themselves want to give me that data, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more reliable, because it's directly from them. So that'd be something I would love to work towards in the future. The whole plan of this algorithm is to make it evolve and just keep incorporating more and more of these values of these I guess endpoints in the online, so that we can make the value as accurate as possible. So I'm always looking into new possibilities like those. I must assume it's YouTube, because it's weird that it's such a huge jump right out of the gate on April. It did go down afterwards though, but it's interesting that it did go it did spike that day. I guess somebody in the future could probably give me a little bit more insight. Maybe they would know why during this particular what is it, the beginning of April of this year, why it suddenly got pretty big spike in value. But after that, it seems like it went back down to its kind of average. So right now it's staying at, oh, actually it went further down than from its 12 point something average to roughly 9-10. Well, it went down to, the most recent value is 5.25 gems. So this makes a little bit more sense to me, honestly, especially because we're not seeing huge spikes on people playing it online, nor people streaming it, nor on people actually playing the game. Oh, did I accidentally hit back? Okay. Yeah, on people actually playing the game. It doesn't seem like there was a that big of a change here. Yeah, it could be a delay effect of this increase in March, I wonder. Well, it might be. Who knows? Maybe when they bought it in March, they might have when it came on sale in March, maybe they bought it and got it from there. So yeah, that could be one of the reasons. But Overall, that seems to be Portal 2's performance so far. It's doing pretty well overall. I mean, this game, you said it yourself. It's from like Xbox 360. It's a really old game. I consider it a classic, but one thing that I always like to highlight is the fact that when you have a game that's this old, you do expect it to not have, uh, you know, people just are no longer playing it unless you're completely new to it. And there's a lot less content about it as well. I know that a lot of people would have loved a Portal 3, or they love whenever new adjacent content comes out from Portal, but unfortunately, these those games don't actually, unless a new thing comes out to bring a whole new audience into it. This is kind of what you expect from a game that old, and I think it's still doing really well for a game that old. Staying around 10 gems to 5 gems is really good. Um, that is, I don't know if you've seen the most recent video, but in one of the videos, I explain how what you expect for indie games right now is roughly from 1 to 100 gems. So as long as you're staying in that range, you're doing pretty good. Obviously, the higher, the better. It shows that people are engaging with your content and with your game more. But still, it shows that you're doing well. Where you are maybe struggling or you're just not getting as much traction is if you go below 1 gem. Usually when you see a game that goes below 1 gem, we're talking about like 0 point something. Those games usually see less than, I would say, less than 50 people, even maybe even less than that, playing it daily, and usually no coverage online. Like not many people covering it, or if there is coverage, the only coverage is like the developers themselves posting content about their game, either their trailer or like a devlog that sometimes developers do. So that could also influence the value, but still doing pretty well. It's I forgot how old this game is. I feel like it's as old as me at this point. Um, Came out. When did you come out? 2021. So yeah, it's been a while since this came out. I I think that's pretty interesting though. I wonder if we'll see another spike. I wonder if like a really popular streamer, I don't know, somebody like either. I mean, I would be surprised if a popular streamer hasn't. If there's people that haven't played Portal 2, but I would assume that a popular streamer out there, either one of the many VTubers that do content online, or maybe even I don't know, somebody like Tyson Ad or somebody like that makes decides to play it, that we could see this value really, really balloon if that happens. But other than that, I think we're good. So that's I wasn't even showing the screen. Paradox Soul, considering the game was set free a bit of time ago. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that one. Paradox Soul. Let's see. So, see, the first thing I gotta do is check if I have that game in my current list. I try to get every single game, but sometimes some do, sleep under the cracks, and I don't get them. In which case, I usually have to add it manually into the algorithm, and then by adding it, then we only have data from that point to further. So let's see what data I have from that game. So it's Paradox Soul. So let me just go ahead and do this. Let me look for here. Where is it? There you go. Website. Da, da, da. And then we'll put you on a separate thing. But let me just do this. The most recent data, and there we go. We'll have you in a separate window. This Should still be, yeah, still a wheel. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. Is it called Paradox Soul? Paradox Soul. Oh, yep, I do have it. I do have it. Let's see here. Do I have a lot of data from it? Doesn't seem like I have a lot of data from it. Let's see how the graph looks. Paradox Soul. Make sure I copy it. Registered. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, when did this game come out? Do I just recently get data from it? Is that why? Paradox. Oh, it's on sale right now. I see. And it came out in 2018. It's on sale right now, so I wonder. So I'll show you what I do have so far. Unfortunately, it's not a lot. I don't have a lot of data from this game right now, but I'll show you what it is. Where are you? Too many tabs open. There you go. And then I should be able to just open you again. There we go. All right, so this is what I currently have for this game. It's not a lot, as you can see, but let me just zoom in. Right now, it seems like it's really low values. This is just because it's basically 0 in these values, but it seems like the last value that I got from this game was in July. It's got 0.018. That's probably due to it suddenly getting sales. But it did go down, and now it's in 0.02, and it seems like it's kind of stayed in that range. 0.002, yeah, it stayed in that range. But if we look at its data, we can kind of see. Oh, wrong thing. It's gonna ask me to be a robot every single time. Paradox Soul. Let's see. So, yeah, it's what I expected. It's not, like I said earlier, you get 0.01 values, or like values lower than 0 if you see games that are seeing less than like 50 players. So this does track with what I'm seeing. And also, it tracks with probably Twitch, because I'm pretty sure that if that's how the low amount of players, there's probably not many people streaming it. Paradox Soul. Yeah, so average viewer is 1 person. So there's people who have streamed it, but it's you don't get that many views from it. So that's why the value's pretty low. This is when we saw it. We saw that little spike there. Here, kind of correlates with the date. Yeah, around here. Yeah, that correlates with the day that we saw it. And do we see more players? It was July. This is like last week. No. Free to keep. Okay, so it came out for free to keep, and that's when people were playing it. But that was on June. And if we look at July, yeah, it stayed, you know, roughly around the same range that I thought about. So it's around 50 gems. Sorry, not 50 gems. 50 players per day, and that's keeping it at such a low value because of that. So, I mean, these games. The one thing I would always tell people is the best way to like understand the gems per se, or as the concept, is I would tell you to visualize it like the stock market, where you have in the stock market, you have obviously big companies. You have Apple, you have like Microsoft, you have all Nvidia, you have all these really big companies that have really high values. But you also have some companies that you can find that are considered what they call penny stocks. They're companies that don't have as many investors, or they don't have they don't give as many cuts to the pie. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the company is bad, right? You can invest in a penny stock and do pretty well, because the value of penny stock is not necessarily the value of the quality of the company. It just shows how much people are engaging with that company, and like, you know, in that case, investing their money on it. And in this case for gems, this is what you would consider somewhat like a penny stock, and it's how much time people are investing on this game. So it seems that because of that, you have this game that I haven't played it myself, but I wouldn't doubt that it's not a bad game. It's just that it hasn't either they don't have the budget for marketing, or I mean, this game is pretty old. I did see that it was released a while ago, but if it's a newer game, it just might be that the developer is either not that well known, or they weren't able to get that good of a budget for marketing and stuff like that, and so people just don't know about it, and thus, you know, the value is low. So once again, this is just rating how much people are engaging with the game, not necessarily the quality of the game. So that's always something I like to point out whenever we see games that have these low values. But yeah, that's right now it's at 0.0024 gem score. And once again, if suddenly people figure out this game, it happened with Among Us, right? Among Us was out for a long time before it got the popularity that it got. In fact, I remember playing Among Us on my phone with my siblings before, like, what, 2-3 years before it suddenly had that boom when the pandemic happened. Negative? Oh, it is. Okay, so I can tell you why it would be in the negative. The reason it would be in the negative is because you're buying, right? So if you're paying for, there's a really small influence that the price has in the gem value. And if you're paying for a game and you're not getting any engagement with that game, then that's why it sometimes appears as negative, and it's because that value, I have it as a negative in the algorithm. But it's a very small contribution. It's not that high, which is why we see it have such a low, you know, change. It's a 0.0 something change, and it's just because you're paying for it. And this doesn't take into account that it went on sale. This just looks at the current the actual value of the game. Cheap viewers on streamblue.com. Remove the space. I don't know what that is, so I'm just gonna move forward. Gotcha. All right, thank you so much for that. So in that case, we'll just continue forward. So yeah, that's why you see this game seeing a negative value there. Once again, not necessarily a bad thing. It's just games that have barely any interaction with them. That's when you're gonna see something like the price start affecting it and appear in a negative value. But if suddenly you see a surge of people playing it, let's say once again, if suddenly people bring attention to this game and they start playing it, or you get a bunch of a community, it's this niche community that plays this game starts growing, you'll see this value leave the negatives and get a more probably closer to that 0.18 value that we saw. So, all right. Well, with that said, I closed it. Let me just go. All right. So with that said, unless you have another suggestion, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and take a look at the wheel again. And let me see if I didn't remove it earlier. I should have removed it. Where's portal 2? And we'll remove it from the list. That way you don't get repeats. There you go. All right. So let's go ahead and spin and see what other game we get now. Okay, so we got Lies of P. So hopefully that takes it. Yeah, it does take it out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at Lies of P. Lies of P. Let me just write it down. Perfect. So just gotta get the short out of that. There we go. And then we can. When did Lies of P come out? I know it's a recent game. Lies of P. $2023. Alright. So let's save this. And now let's go boot it up. There you go. Okay. So this is the data that I have for it. Let me put it on screen. Put this down here. And I should not be. There you go. So this is what we have right now. So if you look at it, it sees roughly, seems like it sees on average 5 gems. Kind of stays in the 5 gem mark. And then we do see a spike here on April. So I could go check and see if we see anything on April. A streamer or anything like that. Or a hype, maybe an update. That could also be a reason. But with that on April, it reached 20 gems, a 20 gem value, which is once again really good. It did have a higher value. I don't doubt that it had a higher value when it came out, but unfortunately I do not have the release date data for it. So we can only watch what in this case, the beginning of year, the start of this year, 2025. So we do see a couple other peaks, but overall it's kind of staying from that 5 gem to maybe 7 gems average. Its most recent value was 6.58 gems. And let's go ahead and take a look at its either player count or Steam. Sorry, or Twitch. If not, I'll search for YouTube. I'm not searching for YouTube data right now, because YouTube data involves me going into YouTube. There's no like specific way, unless I look at the actual line of code when it got calculated. The only way I can check the correlation with it would be to go on YouTube and filter the value, and then after filtering the date and specifically for Lies of P and the date and time that we're looking at, and then I just have to kind of scroll through, see how many videos were posted that day and how many views it has. So that's why I'm not looking at YouTube statistics right now. But I normally look at it when I'm doing one of those shorts and I'm trying to like give a little more context for people. So Lies of P. Lies of P. Where are you? There you go. Okay. So is this June? Okay, so that explains this spike here. this spike in June. Yeah, that spike in June is correlated with this spike here. And no, wait, that's July. Oh, so I remember now. June, I ended up losing the data for June, so I don't have data from June. If you look at the data, it's kind of jumps from May all the way to July. I unfortunately lost this segment of the data. The file got corrupted, so I wasn't able to restore it. But so we don't have that specific spike here, but maybe we can see in July why it went up, or in April why it went up. Let's see here. Oh, this is like, yeah. Yes, but not just lies of P. In general, the data for June that I had, that file got corrupted, and the most recent backup that I had was that end of May. So I unfortunately lost the data from the month of June for the market as a whole, which is why you're going to see in a couple of these charts, you're going to see like this sudden, like very straight line, and it's because I don't have data for June itself. It's just jumping from the May 27th, which is the last value I had, all the way to when I was able to restore it. You know, when I lost the data. Oh, sorry about that. Go back to, there you go. When I was able to get its data. So yeah, that's why you see this. Oh, did I not do it properly? Yeah, that's why, once again, that's why you see this segment right here. It should have been more spiked, and you would have seen more movement, but unfortunately I lost that data in between. So I've till then I've made my backups way more robust, so that way I can ensure that that doesn't happen again, and I don't lose a whole month's worth of data just because the file decided to get corrupted on me. So yeah, so it is unfortunate, but at least we get data every day, so we can still get a more overall bigger picture of how things are going. It just sucks that we didn't see how this spike in particular might have affected it. Was there an update during that time? Yeah, there was a release, so that's why it seems like they had a DLC release, and that's why we see that spike then. Sucks that I don't have it. It would have been very interesting to see what values we got from that. But yeah, so overall we stick to what we have here, and it seems like just normal player counts. This kind of makes sense why we're seeing the gem values that we have been seeing. Yeah, 12, and it's just depending on the day and how many people were streaming it that day and how many videos came out that day. It seems like that's the fluctuation that we have here. Still pretty good. I wish I had the June data though. That would have been very interesting to see that spike here. Probably would have matched something similar to April, or maybe even higher actually. Because when DLCs come out, a lot of people make content about these games. So, but we must keep moving forward. So that is currently lies of P. It's staying, its most recent value is 6.58, which I don't know if they're still, do you know if they're still updating the game? I don't know if they're still updating the game, making more updates for it, but if they are, hopefully I don't lose the data this time, and we can actually see that spike if they make up another DLC for it in the future. So yeah. So with that one covered, I closed it, that's fine. All right, so with that one covered, let's go ahead and take a look at the wheel again. And let's see what is the next game we're gonna be looking at. So, Foxhole. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Foxhole. I believe that's an indie game. So let me just boot it up real quick. I also don't know if you've gone to the website yet, but I've been working on that website pretty constantly, trying to make it as robust as possible, and so that way you guys can actually access that data yourselves, and you can, if you don't want my takes, or you don't like how I interpret the values of any data, you can interpret it yourself, and you can look at how a game is doing yourself. And that way you don't necessarily have to wait for me to cover a specific game. Foxhole looks really like it's done really good. Let me just... When did Foxhole come out? I'm curious. Foxhole. It's September 2022. Damn, okay. Well, I'll show you what data. I'm not showing it yet. Let me show you what data I got. So, I have data here. Let me put it on screen. So, this is Foxhole. And honestly, look at that spike. It peaked at 570 gems. That's really good. That almost competes with like AAA games out there. I'm very surprised. For what I'm assuming is an indie game, getting that high of value is really good. Let's see, was there an update or something during that time? When was this? This peak was on September 11th, it seems. Of when? Of 2024. So, let's see here. September 11th. Doesn't seem like there was anything particularly interesting in September 11th, but there was in October. There was a spike in players in October. And then later on in November. So why did you get a spike there? Was it on sale? Oh, it released. Oh no, that's 2022. My bad. Wrong time. Looking at the wrong values. Okay. Let's see over here. Maybe this will give us a little bit more insight. Foxhole. All that loads. Is there another? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong game. Persistent World Warfare. Oh, it's Foxhole. Seems like that's the only one. We do see sometime it's similar to before. It's like around no, this 2023. I keep looking at the wrong dates. No, but yeah, around October, September, we do see some spikes for those days. That could correlate to why we're seeing these values initially. Although I find it interesting. Is there any other game that maybe that the algorithm could be confusing with Foxhole? Is there another game from Foxhole that's called Foxhole or something along those lines? No, that's the only one that I see. Let's see, sales. Was it on sale at any point? Doesn't seem like. Is it a free game? No, it's $30. So I guess it just hasn't been on sale. Because it's weird that I don't see any data from it here. Still, very interesting. In September, it has spiked. It says here that it did have a site. Oh, not 2020. I keep looking at the wrong dates. God damn. Here it is. It does say that it had a spike on September of that year. So that probably is what correlates to what we're seeing in regards to the gem value over here. Still reaching 570 gem value is really nice. It's unfortunate that it has gone down since then. And there must have been like some major update or like something that developers must have like added something to the game for it to get that huge peak and then that sudden drop off. So, and it went down, and now it's sitting at what I would expect from this niche and what I would expect from a indie game, which is like around, I would say on average 30 gems. Yeah, 30 gem average. It's what it's seeing. It has gone down since then though, and it makes sense since we're not seeing high values here either. We do see that its popularity has somewhat diminished in the last few days, so that's why we're seeing such low values for this month of August and late July. No, not just late July. So, but still pretty good. I mean, it sucks that it went down, but there's the military genre, like the playing with military games is such a competitive genre, because obviously you're fighting against giants like Call of Duty and stuff like that, but then you have other popular games that are like Arma 3, you have what's it called, Project Sandstorm or something like that. So there's no what is the word? There's no as far back as June 6th. I'll go ahead and take it and give it a look in a bit. I forgot the word I was trying to say though. It's just overall, it's surprising how much competition there is with like military simulation games out there. There's just a bunch, and a lot of them have their own quirks and like their stuff that makes them good. Up until now, I've heard that the top games for people who like those type of like war simulators is Sandstorm, the one, Sandstorm's Insurgents or something like that. That one is what I've heard that a lot of people have been really enjoying, or they really enjoy it, but it doesn't get as much love as, for example, Arma 3 or obviously Call of Duty and stuff like that. So, all right, let me go ahead and take a look at that grab game. Let's see what I find on that. So, let's see here. Grab game. Let's see here. Grab game. Crap game, there it is. Yeah, it seems like I only had data for that game for that month. Let me just pull this out so I can get it. Is this the Squid Game like inspired game? Let's see here. Yeah, it was. Okay, so it is the Squid Game one. I know that made its rounds online. A lot of people did enjoy playing it. But I bet it must be tied to like the popularity of the actual series though. As people start forgetting about the series, it starts seeing less players. It's the same thing with like the Roblox Squid Game mini games. A lot of people started playing it when it came out, but shortly after it, people just started, they lost interest. It was a fad or just a trend that was when Squid Game became so popular. So let's see here. It seems like you are completely right. I don't have data back as June. June 6th. So I don't have June 6th. I don't have the June data, obviously, because of what I mentioned before. But let me just convert this so I can open it in the stream. But yeah, I'll just zoom into it. There you go. So this is what we're seeing. So overall, July 8th is what we're seeing. I'm sorry, July 6.4 gems is what we're seeing. And it's pretty stable on that too. It's been, pretty stable on that 6 gem average. Doesn't seem like it's been seeing that much fluctuation. Let's see, Crab Game. Oh, a second one came out? A second Crab Game came out? Let me see, do I have that one? I do have Crab Game too. Let's see. Do you have better numbers? It seems like Crab Game 2, I also only have... Yeah, I don't have from June. Oh, really? Crab Game 2 is just somebody else? It's not even the same person? That's wild. That somebody else would make it and then just steal from it, basically, and then just call it a sequel. That is wild. But I guess it's not seeing as much traction as Crab Game 1. You probably are not able to access it on the website because of how low. But I'll also show you this one. So let's first go ahead and look at Crab Game 1. Seems that way. It's crazy though. But I mean, why would you call it Crab Game 2? Like, why would you just self-proclaim it to be the sequel? That's what I find insane. At that point, just like, I don't know, call it Crab Game Fan Game, or I don't know, like, it's just wild to me that they would just and do you pay for this game? Is it free? Because if you have to pay for this game, I would have to assume that that's even worse. Okay, so it's free, at least. At least it's free. If you had to pay for Crab Game, and then you had to pay for Crab Game 2, and somebody else made it and just took your name, that would suck. As a developer, I can't imagine how terrible that must be. Oh, Crab Game 2 isn't free! Oh, the plot thickens! Wait a second. Let me look it up. It's $4. So no wonder we have less players. That's the first thing, because it's people are not gonna pay for it when you already have a free game and it's the same thing. But not only that, damn, it even has like whoever the developer is. Jeff is the developer apparently. Oh, this is super interesting. Wait a second. Oh, dude, even in the comments, let me see if I can show this. I wanna what was it? Where was it? Window capture. Just look at this. It's like, it's super interesting. Is it this one? There it is. Yeah. All right, so let me just. So look at those comments. This is a disgrace to be called Crab Game 2. This guy made a worse version of Crab Game, then proceeded to charge money for it. Just play the original. That's, well, it is crazy. So it is exactly that. It's somebody went and just made a game themselves, called it the sequel of a game that's not even theirs, tried to charge money for it, and then got the huge backlash from it. Where's the? Can I show me shorts? Yeah, it got a huge backlash. I mean, it didn't get even that much attention because it only has like, what, 20 reviews? 33 reviews. It doesn't even have that many reviews. But still, it sucks. It's honestly, it's ironic, if anything. Funny, but funny in a bad way, you know? Damn. That's crazy. It's crazy that that's the case. Huh. Well, in that case, I'm not so disappointed or sad that the Crab Game 2 is doing even worse than, like, really bad compared to Crab Game 1. So let me just show you that as well. Let me look for Crab Game 2 so we can put them. I can't put them side by. Oh, actually, I'll do one better. I'll put them side by side. I'll put them side by side so that way we can compare the lines one with each other. Ah, come on. What do you mean? What do you mean? What did I do? Oh, I see. No, I see now why. There you go. Now you should be able to get it. Perfect. Okay. All right. I'll show you this graph. Wait a second. Give me a sec. And now that I have that graph, let's boot it up. And it seems like the same dev is making a different game, and it seems like since there's a demo of a different game on the game they made. Oh, let's see. This is super interesting. It's just wild. Being a developer must be so hard. I swear to God. I mean, I'm developing a website, so I understand the struggles of coding in general, but like working hard on a game and then like somebody just flat out copy it, like stealing that from you. It's just terrible. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about the Peak situation. I'm currently making a video on it. Let's see, too. So I'm currently making a video on it. I don't see Crab Game 2 anywhere. I don't see there's a demo. I don't see any other than no other Crab Game than the one we saw from that other developer. So I don't know where you saw that demo. Interesting. Regardless, click on Jeff and then you. Oh, okay. The developer itself. Okay. Wicked Brawler demo. That's what I see. They're making their own game called Wicked Brawler, and they haven't posted it yet. But I don't see a Crab Game. I still don't even see a Crab Game 2 demo though. It seems like he's working on another game. Oh, you were never saying that it was another game from Crab Game. You were just saying that they were making another game, period. Oh, but it seems like that one is like a collaboration. It's not just him. It seems like it's a tiny group of 3 developers: Jeff, Hector, and Marius. Seems nice though. I don't wish any ill on them. I hope that the project goes well when they do the full release of the game. I will always support indie developers. I will not support stealing, but I will always support indie developers way more. In fact, I was mentioning the I got sidetracked, but I mentioned Peak, right? So I'm currently making a video on it, going more in depth into the situation. But I don't know if you saw what happened, the situation that's happening between like Roblox and Peak. I don't know if you heard the news, but basically, Roblox is known to create a bunch of copies of a popular indie games, and then they just do it in Roblox only, and they add microtransactions into it. They add a lot of stuff into it. Yep, and filled it with a bunch of microtransactions. The most recent development is that the developer for Cliff, which is the knockoff version in Roblox, did actually take the game down. He closed off all the servers. But Roblox being what it is, there's just a bunch of other copies out there of Peak, and they haven't closed their servers, or at least I haven't seen that they have yet. So, you know, it's you kill one and another one pops up, right? It sucks that that's the situation. That's another issue that the indie devs have to deal with. But yeah, they really ripped into them for doing that copy. I can show you real quick those games though. Let me see. I know I have them. It's basically the other copies of that game is one called, I think it was Klein, I think it was called. Like, they're not big devs can just sue Roblox for supporting piracy. I'm pretty sure that's actually not true, unfortunately. So it's not a simple, first, because it's expensive for a lawsuit like that, right? There's a lot of capital to be able to hire your own lawyer to fight that, but also copyright lawsuits are notoriously hard to win because they can change little things here and there and just say that it was like, oh, it's inspired, it's different, right? And Roblox knows this is happening, and they're just like kind of turning a blind eye. I'm not gonna this. I don't know. People make a lot of stuff there. What's going on there? I don't know. I don't mess with that. That's people and their creations. That has nothing to do with me. I just have the Roblox game. That's my stuff. So yeah, they just have a blind eye for that, and it's not just Peak. Like, there's a bunch of games that have been copied. There's a indie game that I really enjoyed playing called what was it? Get a Job? No, it's not called Get a Job. Is it Yeah, it's called Get a Job. So it's an indie game called Get a Job, and it's like one of those like rage games type of things. And I played it. I really enjoyed it. And now you have a Roblox version of that exact same game, and it's, as you would expect, literal microtransactions as well. So it just sucks that somebody is out there just also stealing these ideas and then gaining potentially more money than the original developers because they've just put a bunch of unnecessary microtransactions, and people who only play Roblox just don't know any better and just do that. It's perplexing because I'm just here thinking, I don't think they can. That's what I mean. Because I don't think they can, because I think it's way more a complicated situation though. It's really hard because, once again, it's just copyrights in general are so hard. DMCA is mostly used for if somebody flat out is taking somebody else's creation and then selling it or using it themselves as their own product, right? DMCA doesn't necessarily cover when when somebody is inspired by another person's creation and then makes their own version of that other game, right? Because in the end of the day, it's quote unquote different. They did make Roblox. They did program it in Roblox, right? It is a little bit different, but it brings us back to that Paw World situation. So if you remember Paw World when it came out, people were like, "Oh my God, it's copying Pokemon. It's stealing their assets, or like it's ripping off their direct what is it called, like 3D models and just making them their own." And it's even that was really hard to prove because in the end of the day, they did create a unique game, and there are a lot of unique like creatures. There's a lot of unique monsters in that game. It just seems that they were lazy with a couple of others. But since the idea, or like the game as a whole, is not a copy of the other game, in this case Pokemon, then it's really hard for you to say, yeah, that's a copy of that. Because once again, you changing it's the general concept of the character, but keeping some things the same. That's when it starts getting very, very gray and very hard to really notice. And DMCA once again, is just if you were to genuinely just take it and use it yourself. So that's why you see a lot of DMCAs, particularly with music or with videos, because you taking a song or a video from somebody else and incorporating it yourself, where you're gaining money from it, that's an issue, right? That's why people DMCA, because you're actively using somebody else's product in your own in your own product, I guess, or like your own thing. Kind of like when Pokemon Brick Bronze was taken down. Yes, because that one, once again, did take Pokemon itself, right? And then since it was just taking Pokemon but adding stuff to it and then claiming it's as its own game, then that was the issue. That's why a lot of these like Pokemon fan-made Pokemon games, you don't charge money for, right? And the only reason they stay up is because they're completely free. They're not charging money for it. It's just a fan-made thing that doesn't affect it. But even then, Nintendo is also very notoriously picky with their IPs. So they can be very, very stingy when it comes to other people creating their own iterations of their games, including mods. I don't know if you watch this creator, this Point Crow. Point Crow used to make a lot of mods for, I think it was Tears of the Kingdom, or if not Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. He used to just make a lot of mods to do challenges and like play the game in a lot of different ways. And then he just got DMCA struck because of it. And it's, once again, DMCA is reserved for when you're using somebody else's product with very few changes or iterations, and then claiming it or monetizing or gaining something out of it. Like Super Mario, yes. So all those things are definitely things that take into account, and why people definitely why once again it's really hard for you to fight these cases. Why it's easy for you to do a DMCA strike, but why it's hard for, in this case, having a completely different game, which is Roblox, and like people coding their own version of another game in Roblox and then monetizing out of it, right? Because keep in mind, Roblox does get money from these games, right? The reason they like turn a blind eye and act, completely unaware of what's happening is because for every microtransaction that happens in Roblox, they get a cut. So it's financially beneficial for them to just ignore it and just profit out of it. right? So that's the thing that still happens. And let me look up for the, I was gonna show you the other Roblox copies of Peak that exist. Okay, there you go. So there's one called Rise, which I'll show you right here. Oh, let me take this guy out real quick. There's one called Rise, and I have the filter on it, so that's why you can't see it properly. Let me see if I can put it on the other one. Give me a sec. Let's see how I can do this. I'll just add it as a new window. Let's just add it as a new window. Temp. Okay. And then select window. There we go. So I'll make it smaller. So this is the other copy that exists, and this one also, just like Cliff, is monetized. So they have these things here that either gives you small boosts and whatever, and then they just get money out of it. And people do buy it, so they make money out of it. It's unfortunate, honestly. They even put their own achievements into it and all that. And then here's the other one. Roblox gets 95% of the money from Robux purchases if the person buying Robux puts a star code, which will soon be gone and replaced with links. Damn, that's a steep cut. 95% of money from Robux. Wait, damn. Okay, no, that's still like super deep of a cut. Wow, how are these developers even making money in Roblox? If that's, I guess, like, if you're selling, Roblox is so big that I guess if you're selling 1 million copies and you're only getting $1 out of it, that's still, $1 million. So, damn, I can see how that would go, but it's wild. 95% is such a big cut. But yeah, here's the other one. Here's Climb. It's what they call the other one. Even lazier of an adaptation for it. But this one at least doesn't have any microtransactions. It's just they created the game, and you can join in. It seems to be free, which is a little bit better. If you're making, at that point, this I could consider a fan game in Roblox, but because you're not making any money out of it, you just enjoy it and you trying to create it in another medium, similar to, I guess, you making a similar game in what is it called, in Gmod. The start codes is only for YouTuber devs and DevX their Roblox to actual money. Okay, devs can. Oh, okay, gotcha. But still, 95%. I mean, I don't know why somebody would even make a deal like that. I mean, I guess if you're getting the other way of looking at it, instead of looking at it like they're taking a 95% cut, it's you using a promo code or whatever, you're getting 5%. So on their point of view, it's not a bad thing, because it's money at the end of the day. They're still getting something out of it, and you do that consistently enough, you can probably get a good bank for that. But yeah, this Clips, I would say Climb, I would say is closer to a fan game, similar to how a lot of people made fan games in Gmod. But Rice itself, no, Rice, that one's egregious, right? That the fact that they're getting money out of it for basically just doing somebody else's game, and this is clearly like AI generated too, so it's just lazy in all accounts, which sucks. So, but now I did have the graph. It was kind of peaking there, so let me just go to that graph real quick, and let me zoom in on the graph. Let's zoom in here. So it seems like I don't have data for both games up until July. But I mean, this is basically straight bottom line for what Crab Game 2 is getting compared to Crab Game 1. Once again, it's actually this is like a similar situation to Cliff. Somebody made another the same game practically, called it its sequel, and then started charging money out of it. The only difference is that he did that here in Steam, where, you know, a lot of people are more aware of these kind of stuff, and they're not gonna get, you know, they're less likely to fall victim. But if that same developer would have just gone to, I don't know, Roblox and done the same thing, I mean, it already existed, I'm assuming, but if he had done the same thing with another type of game, he probably would have gotten a good payout out of it. But it's interesting to see that contrast, though. 0.0029 gems for Crab Game 2, and then 6 gems for Crab Game. Pretty good. This is once again what I expect from an indie game. Crab Game is doing pretty well for itself. So I'm glad that small dev was able to create something that people enjoy and they keep playing. It must have like a small community that likes. I bet it's like a bunch of kids too that they just like playing a bunch of Squid Game related games. And at the end of the day, Squid Game is basically it's basically Death Run from Gmod. I used to watch a lot of content on Death Run from Gmod. I used to play a lot of Gmod back in the day. So, but with that out of the way, we're pretty much done with a Crab Game. So let's go ahead and take a look at what other game we're gonna look at its value. So let's just spin that wheel again, shall we? So, high choice, and let's spin it again. Okay, Stalker. Let's go ahead and take a look at Stalker. I have to like be very specific when I write this one because I always forget to put the decimal points in between the letters, and then the algorithm doesn't find it, or at least I'm not able to find it. So let's go ahead and search for this one. Stalker should be if you want to like tag along with me, you can definitely go on the website. I believe you'll be able to see Stalker there as well. So let's see here. Stalker Shinobu. Also, I can change the color of the graph. I don't know if you have a preference. If you want me to change the color to a specific thing, I could definitely change that color to anything. Anything you find interesting. So, let's see here. So, we have Stalker. Stalker 1. This is the first Stalker. And it seems like I have data for it beginning this year. What did I saw a notification I don't see. I don't mind the random colors for the line. Unfortunately can't set it to random colors. So let's do a change of pace, and I'll just change the color to, we're doing Stalker. We'll do a red. We'll do a red color for Stalker. And then later on we can change it to something else. Okay, so let's save that. And let's go ahead and take a look at its value. Where are you? I lost you. There you are. There we go. You booted it up in the wrong window. Here. There we go. So I have data from Stalker from the beginning of this year, December of 2024 to till this year. So I'll just show you that on screen now. There we go. That's Stalker. So this is the first game. So I'm not surprised that it's getting such low values. It's seeing a 1 gem on average. It seems like that's the average that we're seeing. But it does kind of fluctuate depending on somebody playing Stalker 1 or not. And my guess is that there's not that many people making content about it either. Oh, misclick. I always have to. There you go. No, that's Chernobyl. That's the sequel. Which I also have. We can take a look at that one later. There we go. Shadow of Chernobyl. That one. So, yeah, 2007. This is a really old game. And yeah, we're not seeing a super high. It was like 200 players per day, and that's like probably I wouldn't be surprised if like speedrunning community plays this game. I should check if I can get data from speedrunning communities. That'd be interesting as well. I mean, I know I get player data, but just, you know, and content data. I guess, I don't know. You tell me. I think if me checking, incorporating into the value, like if there's a speedrunning aspect community that plays it, I don't know how I would incorporate it yet, but it's interesting to consider. Maybe just seeing how many, taking into how many people attempts are there for speed running. Maybe that could be added into the list, because that would it shows how much there's more engagement, because there's always people watching speed runners, and there's always people putting more attempts and trying to beat records in speed runs. That'd be interesting. But overall, yeah, Stalker is seeing roughly 200 players per day, and I'm guessing it's just not seeing that many views. I mean, the second, if somebody's playing something, it's probably the second one. I unless it's like somebody's trying to play the whole franchise, I don't see why somebody would play the first one. Sure. Isn't the second one also really new? Didn't it come out like either last year or this year? Yeah, so this is what we're seeing. Yep. So that's the values we're seeing. So that little peak here that we see, the highest peak we see, is correlates with the highest peak we see here as well. Here. And this is May. Do you know how May? Yeah. This is what we're seeing when it went up here in May. So yeah. Still pretty decent community. It seems like there's always people watching Stalker related stuff, and there's always people playing it. I wonder if it's because of either like I mentioned earlier, speedrun, or if it's just like it has that niche community that just likes playing it a lot. Maybe they modded it. That could also be something. All right, so that's Stalker. Since we're already here, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at Stalker 2 while I'm at it, since that one came out not too long ago. Let's get ahead and take a look at Stalker 2. Oh, I forget the name. Either that or miscategorization. That's also true. It could also be that people are putting Stalker 2 as Stalker 1 and stuff like that. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. All right. So let me see if I gotta find the exact name for Stalker 2. If not, it'll kind of complain and won't find it. So let me search it up. Stalker. Oh, there's also a bunch of other Stalker games. Or are those DLCs? I wonder if that's why. Maybe every single Stalker iteration is all being crammed as one. Not in the score, but in like live streaming and stuff like that. Because I have the value for a couple of others. That's interesting nonetheless. Okay, so let me copy this. Copy you. Okay, Okay, Stalker 2. Actually, we can put them side by side. Why not? And then Stalker 2. And now, there we go. So we can definitely see it. And let me just show it to the stream. Let me show it to the chat. Oh, you're still looking at that screen. There we go. And that's Stalker right there. Stalker 1 and 2 side by side. So it seems like for Stalker 2, on average, it sees roughly, I would say 7 gems. 7 gems, and then it went down for a bit, where it was seeing, oh no, you're showing me the wrong one. There we go. We're seeing 5 gems on average. Oh, you can't even see, the scale is so high compared to the other Stalker 1's value. You can't even see the red line. Damn. I wonder if I could just like, there you go. There we go. Now you can see the line. Once again, for Stalker 1, I only have from starting 2025. But still, this is interesting though. Stalker 2 on April looks like the same graph despite being side by side in big mode. Really? What do you mean? Looks like the same graph despite being side by side in big mode. Oh, do you mean like the behavior? So this is Stalker 1. No, there's a pretty big difference. The enlarged version of the graph. You can barely see it on the looks like the same graph despite being side by side in big mode. I'm gonna be honest, I do not understand what you're trying to say, but I'll just keep moving forward for now. But regardless, the overall, I want to see what could have cost it to get such a high value on that day. Oh, okay. All right, so like you mean the. So the difference was that it wasn't showing this. That's the only difference, because it was showing you Stalker 2 since it's taking over the entire thing, so it wasn't really showing you Stalker 1. But now it's zoomed out a little bit more, so that it actually shows the entire thing. Okay, so let's go back to what we were looking for. Stalker 2, Chernobyl, there we go. So this one sees, yeah, so already a bigger amount of players that play it. And it released when? When was it released? I'm confused. Why won't it show me more? On Monday of 2024? Also, it came out on 2024? That doesn't add up. If it came out in 2024, why? Let me just close all the other graphs I had so that I don't keep changing between them. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. It does make sense. So in January. Steam release was on 2024. And then December, and then we have 2025 numbers. Huh. Did it have like an early beta or anything like that? What about you? What about if I search here? I'm not gonna write the whole thing. It's really there it is. Yeah, so this correlates to what we're seeing, but it seems here like it just came out in November of 2024. So why do I have data from? Why do I have data from April? Unless the gem value itself miscategorized it. I mean, it was released on Steam at that date. Did it come out in other platforms earlier? When did Stalker 2 come out? You know, release date. No, it says that it's November. Did they have early access? Also, it did have a 3-month console exclusivity for Xbox. So it does seem like it did get released on Xbox first. Maybe that's why I'm seeing the value I'm seeing. Interesting. Still, you see. So that's a pretty nice spike we see there. And then it came out in November. Do I not have November data? What? There it is. Came out in November, which is why we see it here. Oh, we're done. There we go. And then we see a spike in February. Was there an update in February? Doesn't seem like it was. Somebody streaming it? Doesn't seem like it was. Seems like a dead game. Why does it? It's not getting that many. No, it's not dead at all. It's just that this is such a high value when it released comparatively. But right now it stands at 37. I wonder if this is also taking into account the other Stalker games. And that's why. I'll have to look into that. Interesting though. Regardless, right now it sees 4 gems, which makes sense if you look at how low it's gone, how much traction it's lost. Yeah, that's 5, but it's also barely getting any views. 100 something is not a bad amount, but yeah. So right now, so its highest peak, it seems, was 61 gems. Then the highest peak of this year was 37 gems. And then it went all the way down to right now it's seeing 4.9 gems. So it's like seeing an average of 5 gems now. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. All right. So that was Stalker, still doing obviously way better than Stalker 1. That was Stalker. Let's go ahead and look. Let's spin the wheel again. So I just realized I don't have to keep moving the wheel out of the way. I can just make it invisible. Yeah, okay. I can just make it invisible. All right, so let's spin that wheel. Let's see what other game we get now. We have Satisfactory. Let's go ahead and take a look at Satisfactory. A lot of people love Satisfactory. A lot of people love it. So let's go ahead. Factory. Red's still a nice color for that one, so we'll keep it at red. Let's see here. So, satisfactory. When I have you now, let's go ahead and show you. Where are you? There you are. And let me put it to the thing. There you go. And let's put it here. And now let's go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So when did look for satisfactory? Have you played Satisfactory? Do you like management games or like what is that genre called again? Automation games. Do you like automation games? Perfect. Oh, Satisfactory is it came out on September. September 10th, 2024. Alright, so let's go ahead and look. Sometimes, since it depends if there are microtransactions or not, and if they are forced down upon the player. That's interesting. I haven't seen that many automation games that do that, but maybe it's because I've only played the popular ones like Factorio. I haven't played Satisfactory. I haven't played that one, but I've played Factorio. I've played there was another one by the same creators of Get to Work. Get to Work. It wasn't Get a Job. It was Get to Work. That's what I was talking about before. Anyways, Get to Work. It was something with an A. I forgot the name, but that one also an automation game. I play them, but they don't really. Unfortunately, they don't really. They fill me up for a certain amount of time, but then I get bored of it like relatively quickly. I don't stay addicted to it and like make the perfect machine like some other people do. It's crazy what some other people invent. So, all right. So the official release was on September 10th, but it seems like they had like demo or like closed like an open alpha or open beta that they could play for a while. I'm trying to see. Like, for example, Adventure Capitalist was sure people could argue is an indie game, but idle game, but it's technically a management game, and it does have microtransaction. It does force it down the player. Yeah, okay, so I didn't even consider Adventure Capitalist. So it's like you're saying, that's an idle game. I don't consider automation games, idle games to be automation games. But yeah, if that's where your headspace is at, I can definitely see how that would be way too, just way too shoving it down your throat. It's like, no, it's very annoying, and it's especially isn't Adventure Capitalist also in the phone, so they have even more incentive to just keep adding more microtransactions because phone games are just a funnel for you to spend more money. Early access. So it was in early access for a while before. Okay, I'm not even showing on screen. My bad. Let me go ahead. Showing it on screen. There we go. Okay. It does. Oh wait, doesn't force it down on mobile? That's actually surprising. Usually they are a more aggressive on mobile than on like a Steam release. Usually on mobile, they're like they're very much, I give you an ad so that way you have to pay so you don't get ads, or so you can skip the ad, or they add even more microtransactions where you can do this and just watch an ad, and if you don't watch an ad you can always just pay for it. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that they didn't that they are less aggressive on mobile than they are in Steam. But taking a look at Satisfactory. So Satisfactory, we can see its values when it was in early access. And this spike right here was during release date. So we can see that during early access, it had roughly 60 gems. I would say, yeah, roughly 60 gems per day. And then once it was finally released, it just skyrocketed from there, which I'm also not surprised because I saw a lot of content from this online. There were a bunch of streamers making content, playing it. There were a bunch of YouTube content about like different structures that different people made and all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of people engaging with this game, not just by playing it, but by watching other people. I think, actually, fun fact is, I think automation games are a prime example of a type of game that not as many people enjoy playing, but they do enjoy watching. A lot of people, I feel like there's a lot more people that enjoy watching others play automation games than they do playing it themselves, or at least they don't put as much time in than watching other people play it or stream it and stuff like that. So this is very interesting to see its value so high. It reached a peak in its height. It's reached a peak of 542 gems when it launched. So that's really good value, especially for an indie game. This is already in, like, if you look at the website, you'll be able to have a little bit better of a reference point. But most games, even the very popular ones like Call of Duty, Rust, Dota, all these like games are very popular. GTA, still those don't reach the 500 gem mark, or if they do reach the 500 gem mark, it is way less, or at least they don't maintain it as often, similar to here. But still, being able to have an indie game that reaches that value, that is like equivalent to a AAA game, is just an amazing achievement. Like, no matter what, it's the fact that it reached that is amazing to see. And it maintained it for a good amount. It maintained it for like basically the rest of the year. It did go down slowly. The peak on the gem on the site shows it a bit over 100. So that is because on the site that you're probably seeing something like this guy, a bit over 100. You're probably seeing 101. That is because on the site, I had to condense the time period. So the site should be showing you up until 3 months of data, which is why you're probably seeing this gem value right here, which is probably its peak in the last 3 months. Because the website, if I were to put the entire list of games and the entire data that I have on of all games, it would start taking too much loading time. So you'd be staying, just to see anything, you would be loading for like 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes just to see something. And I just thought it wasn't really good for user experience. And in order for me to fix that on the website, I had to like basically invest on more, I think it's like more servers and stuff. Like, there's ways to make it more efficient, to make the website run better, or to be able to handle bigger, I guess bigger file sizes and processes. But right now, from with what I have the website currently, it's just the 3 months that we have right now. But you're probably seeing the one that I'm showing on screen, which is 101 gems. That's probably the peak you're seeing. The peak you're not seeing is when it originally launched, which is the 542 gems that we see right there. Still, from what you're telling me, and it's what we're seeing right here, it's maintained a healthy gem value of almost 100 gems for the rest of its recent time. So there's still a bunch of people playing it and making content about it. Oop, let me just do this. You're probably seeing something around this, something similar to this. That's probably the graph you're seeing. So this is still great. A game like that is an indie game seeing roughly, once again, in that range of like 1 to 100 gems is great. It's great to see. It seems like there's a tight-knit community. A lot of people love this game. So it's really nice to see that. And its most recent value right now is 26 gems. And I think that tracks with player counts. You can see how it goes down here, and probably gonna track as well with its streamer count. So if we go to set this back here. Yeah, there it is. So it just correlates almost 1-to-1 with its behavior of people engaging with the game and people playing with the game. It's a pretty one. Once again, I'm not surprised, because there's a lot of people who enjoy playing it, but there's also a lot of people who just like watching other people play it, automation games in general. So I think that this is really nice to see. And just overall, oh, they had an update not too long ago. That's why we see that spike in April. When was this? In June. Okay, yeah, so that's no, that's in April. We don't have June, which is here. And it did go down after the update, so we're currently seeing these values. Yeah, that was the update in June, and then it went down. So overall, that's kind of what we're seeing. Still really great values. Its most recent is 26 gems, and it now has like a 20. It seems like it has a 26 gen average right now. It's been more stable recently, which is still really great to see. Super interesting stuff, honestly. Let's see, maybe if they have another update or they add DLCs and stuff like that, we might see it spike back up to that 500 gem range. Maybe not, but it would depend if suddenly a bunch of creators start playing it again, because I know, once again, it was a very big topic when it did come out. So I think it's a great value. I think Satisfactory, great game, and you can definitely tell with the data. People love playing it. People love engaging with this game. So that's Satisfactory, and I think we have time. We have time for one more game. So let's go ahead and look at once again that wheel. Unless you have a suggestion for the final game we covered today. If you have a suggestion, we can definitely go ahead and look at it. If not, then I'll just spin the wheel. I'll give you a second to see if you respond. Where's the wheel? There it is. So since I haven't heard yet, I'm just gonna assume that we're gonna go with the wheel. Let the wheel pick so you can get through the list quicker. Thank you, genuinely. Thank you. It is a long list, and it does take me a while to get through these. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see what other game we cover. Ooh, that's a little bit laggy. Let's see here. Why not end it with a classic? Let's go ahead and take a look at Elder Scrolls, at Skyrim. The game that has been sold by the same game that has been sold in like 50 different ways, or different consoles, different formats. It's just, man, do they love reselling that game in different devices. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So, if we go ahead and I'm pretty sure the neat part of this is that you can make these game generating things into clips and posting them on YouTube. Yeah, so that was one of the ideas behind it. The idea was that I could be live with you guys in case you wanted a more like the request that you've made, and we can look at games live together. But also it's just that I can clip this and put it on that day whatever series, and that way I can cover the long list and the ever increasing list of games that people want me to check. So it's a what is it? Killing two birds with one stone. Let's go ahead and look it up. Let's go ahead and look it up. Where are ya? Just go with. There we go. Let's go with Elder Scrolls. And let's do that. The series is on day number 27. Yeah. But the list is all the way to like almost 100. So it was just like, how can I get through this list without, I mean, I could have just kept doing it every day and just let it keep accumulating. But it just felt like every single time that I post a new game that day, it just keeps like maybe 3-4 requests higher. So it's an ever expanding list. So I thought this was the best way to cover a couple, while also interacting with you guys and getting to know you guys a little bit better. And you get to know me a little bit better too. So let's go ahead and look at this thing. I hope that at some point, my plan is that at some point, since doing it in this live format, I can maybe start maybe collabing with people, and if there's some content creator or anything like that that'd be interested, I could like look at different games with them together. Or at some point we could even like I'll actually show it a little bit, but you know how we have calculated the daily, like the percentage change, and you see that on the website. Well, I also in the side I've also calculated the percent change in the last 30 days and also in the last year percentage change. So it's stuff like that maybe we can go and look at some indie games that maybe don't have such a high gem value but have been growing, and I feel like it's worth investing our time in and playing it and maybe giving a little bit more attention to those games. So that's something that I plan to maybe in future, and you let me know if that's something you guys would find interesting as well. Why am I spinning this thing? Okay, so that's what I was doing. Let's go ahead and open the final one. Let's go ahead. Have a lot of tabs open so this works. So it takes me a bit, but here it is. All right, so now I should be able to just plop. There we go. So that is Skyrim. I'm gonna go ahead and just look up Skyrim. Skyrim is modded to hell and back. You moderate it? That's awesome. Are they like what is it that people call it? No, I'm a one viewer Andy. But what is it, like smaller streamers that and stuff like that, or do you do for bigger streamers? Where was it? We're looking for Skyrim. That's what we're looking for. Skyrim. Smaller streamers, yeah. That's nice though. I feel like a lot of smaller streamers need a lot of support. I mean, I'm doing the whole YouTube thing at the website, and now I'm trying to do a live stream, and I would not even. I mean, right now it's just you, and I'm not getting that much interaction from other people other than that random bot that we saw. But I can only imagine how hectic it could get if I had like 20 people in the chat or something along those lines, and you know, no matter what size. There's actually a streamer that I've been watching. I've been enjoying their content a lot. They're a VTuber. I enjoy VTubers. They can be really nice personalities and a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, that VTuber, they're called IU, and they don't have the whole joke was that they don't have a somebody moderating their chat. So it was people just kind of making fun and saying like, oh, luckily the people in the chat at that time were really nice and they weren't doing anything, you know, that they shouldn't do. And they still have like the usual, I think it's like the Twitch has like their own automatic moderating thing, but you just never know, because that doesn't block if somebody's being a piece of work and they don't want to, they're being mean to the streamer or just being insensitive. So honestly, great work that you do. Small streamers need more help. Okay, so let me just, we're looking at Skyrim. Yeah, it really is just one bad actor, because especially like VTubers, a lot of them hide their face, or they hide their appearance for a reason, right? They like I personally don't mind showing my face. I actually prefer it. I feel like I have a more close relationship with a connection with people such as like you when I'm showing myself and you can see my expressions and all that kind of stuff. And as you get to know me, I'm also very expressive, and I like make a lot of gags and stuff like that. I like doing skits. But regardless, that's me. But there's a lot of VTubers that don't like showing their faces, and them getting, for example, doxxed by a person, or being just bullied by somebody else, by either sometimes stuff they can't even control, like a VTuber's already not showing their face, and then you go ahead and make fun of, I don't know, the way they laugh, for example. Let's say they have a weird laugh or something like that, or maybe they have they have tics, or they have a stutter or something like that, and then you start making fun of them for stuff that a lot of times they can't control. That's terrible. I feel like that, like, it sucks that they would be in that situation. And then, yeah, who wouldn't quit, right? You're already not showing your face, and still people online are being mean to you and like just finding any way to just abuse that relationship between streamer and chatter. It sucks. It really does suck. And I've heard of a lot of cases online and all that kind of stuff. The internet is a scary space, but you know, we only hope that we foster the community that we want to, you know, we want to grow with. And so, banning is the option. As long as you can ban people, that's what you should do. If you start getting that type of person, ban it quickly. Don't let it fester and grow. And people could go to extreme measures like turning to security breaches. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, you getting doxxed for that kind of stuff, or then going out of their way to finding your address, and then, or something along those lines, and then going to your house. to like see your face, or the I'm pretty sure it's what you meant by security breaches, doing the swatting. That's wild. The people who do swatting, like, I don't understand how you find enjoyment out of that. It really just ruins not just your like the streamer's day, it ruins the other chatters, the other people who are enjoying the stream, because the stream is going to end right there and then, right? Like, it just, I don't know, man. Some people in the internet, anonymity is it anonymity or animosity? Animosity is definitely one of the things that can make the human do things that they would never do in real life, or like if they show their actual face. So that's definitely a scary thing. All right, so let's take a look at Skyrim. So Skyrim, to no surprise, is seeing roughly 100 gems. Maybe I would say it's more 90 gems on average, but still, like, it's roughly 100 gems every day. Like, I'm not surprised. It's a lot of people play this game. Skyrim is modded till hell and back. So that kind of it's kind of endless content. And I mean, I normally check how many breaches my Gmail been through via have I been on. Thankfully, my emails have had no data breaches. Oh yeah, I wonder. I mean, do you use something like Incogni? I know that's something that a lot of people have been that's something that a lot of people have been promoting recently. Was it Incogni? I think it was Incogni. And then it steals your data from data broker, so you don't do stuff. But data breaches in general, oh, you just use Chrome. Yeah, that's fine. And data breaches in general is still. So a little bit of background on my end. I used to be in the cybersecurity space, so I know a thing or two about like how you deal with these type of breaches and how these breaches can even come to pass in the first place. Which is another reason I try to limit the amount of data right now, and I'm being I'm growing slowly with the website, because the last thing I want is to be the cause of the people who want to use my website, be the cause of them losing their data or being, having their information breached. So I want to try to make it as best as possible, slow growth on that end. Backdoors, exactly. So, dude, when I receive any link, I have the habit, I don't know if you know about this, but you can get that link when somebody sends you something and you don't trust it. You can get that link, and there's a website where it analyzes that link to see if it's malicious or not. I forgot the name of the website right now, but it's like something along the lines of like, is this a virus? Like, the website's very the website is literally just named like something like, is this a virus, or like scanner, or something like along those lines. And you can put that link, that URL link in there, and if you put it there, it'll tell you whether if it is correlated to previous malicious use. So if you haven't heard of it, you should search it up. It might help you as well, especially if you're receiving a lot of spam email and stuff like that. It definitely helps you be able to secure. I mean, you shouldn't answer spam emails in the first place. Virus Total, and that might be one of them. That might be one. I know there's a couple. And the one I'm talking about is completely free. You shouldn't have to pay for it, right? So I don't know if Virus Total is the one, or if that's one of the tools you have to pay for to use. But overall, you can find a lot of these tools online. They can guarantee that you don't get hit with with those malicious things. I'm also very I don't know if you scan QR codes very often, but I'm also very, very skeptic with QR codes I find in the street. Virus Total is free, so there you go. But I'm very just meticulous or like very skeptical in general, like when it comes to seeing any QR code anywhere in the street and stuff like that, because you literally don't know what's on those QR codes. Luckily nowadays, the QR code actually shows you the link, but that wasn't always the case. It didn't always show you the link where it was going to. In fact, it would just immediately send you to that place. Now you for security reasons, you have to actually click on like the link that it's showing you to basically confirm that you want to go to that website. But you put any person could just grab a QR code, go to a random what is it called, a random restaurant, just in general, a random restaurant. You know how with the pandemic, a lot of them start putting the QR codes on the table. Anybody could just go to a random restaurant, go there, put their QR code on top, make it seem like it's normal. They don't check that thing, right? And then make the link look like the menu for the restaurant. And there you go. You have a back door, right? There's so many ways that QR codes can be manipulated to be a potential, be a potential harm for you. So yeah, it's you do have to be very careful with QR codes. And usually when people ask me, there's also the case where with APKs on Android where you don't know what it is on the APK besides that APK shows. I completely agree. Android, I'm an Android user. I don't use Apple. Apple is a cult. I will die on that hill. Apple is a cult. But I use Android, and I've had a couple of applications where I've had to get through APK, and I'm always very skittish when I do, because I immediately I download the APK. Before I even download the APK, I check that whether the website that I got it from is a good website. I check if people have had issues with reported issues with that APK in the past. And then once I do install it, if I see anything that's weird, turn off the phone immediately and just let it rest for a bit and turn it back on and see if there's any change. You can I know a lot of people would call me a little bit paranoid, but that's kind of what happens when you work on these fields and you start learning about all the different ways that people can exploit technology and really do malicious things and harm you in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's honestly wild. Man. You could also turn off the Wi-Fi and data on the phone and turn on the airplane mode. Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. You can definitely turn off your Wi-Fi when you download it and try to do that. That definitely helps a lot. It just won't help if it's something that's corroding your phone from the inside. It's not that often that happens, because recent malicious and virus are meant with some type of monetary gain in the end, right? So turning off the Wi-Fi would more likely and not solve the issue, but there are still some people out there that just want to watch the world burn and will send out a virus that will just stay in your phone and kill it from the inside. And they gain nothing from it. They're just this would be really funny if I just put this thing on and just destroy a bunch of people's phone because of it. And they gain nothing from it. But the back end is definitely, with turning off Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, you can definitely fight against a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, you got to be careful. The internet there's been a lot of regulation in the internet, but it's still the wild west when it comes to a lot of these things. And things are still changing. People are always creating new ways of exploiting. Day zero is something that nobody can predict. It just happens. And in the end of the day, you also have governments who, they are also involved in these kinds of stuff. So, you have a bunch of big hitters. And on Android 13, or better, you can access the Android folder unless you have the phone plugged into a computer. Yes, I file management on Android is something I do love. I don't think Apple has as good of a file management system than Android does, but I also do have a I do also have like a Google phone, so maybe that's also what it allows me to be a little bit more explicit, or like more specific on the things that I want to change on my phone regarding file management. But yeah, no, the idea that you can go into your files just like you would any computer on your phone, and you can just make sure what you're seeing is what you're seeing, and that you have everything that you don't suddenly end up with a file that you weren't expecting there, is always great. Clear your cache, by the way. If you haven't done that, a lot of times when you're running out of memory, just clear your cache. Cache does help make your phone run a lot smoother. So yeah, it's just a lot of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back into Skyrim. Looking back into it, once again, not surprised. Skyrim seeing roughly 80 gems to 100 gems per day, and it did see a spike. I'm assuming this has to be a content creator or something got like, I'm not even gonna look it up, mostly because this is it's not super high of a peak. It's just 170, but it has to be like a content creator or something that decided to put either they released a new mod and a lot of people liked it, or they started doing a live stream while playing it. A lot of people play this game, and a lot of people do a lot of role playing with this game, so I'm not surprised at all with these values. I wish that I had created this sooner, this like whole concept and of the gems and all that sooner, because I would have loved to have seen Skyrim when it launched, and how what numbers it had when it did, especially since it's literally like one of the, I would say, most impactful games out there that has influenced the gaming industry as a whole. Even if they've open world games have kind of lost a lot of their luster, if you don't include stuff like Breath of the Wild or like Zelda, they've lost a lot of their luster in recent years. A lot of Bethesda games have become very, I would say, very monotone. They're kind of the same thing. So this being one of the first games that really had that open world aspect, really set the rules for everything else, that every other open world game that we've seen so far. With that said, we can see that it's still in its average. It did go down recently though. Is it not showing the whole data? There we go. It did go down recently to around 50 gems. It looks like this is one of the games that had its gem value corrupted in July. Yes, it is. So you have, I have from May, and then suddenly I don't have whatever happened when it slowly went down in June. Yeah, it didn't go down. But this is not that it got corrupted. This is its current value. It's just, I'm guessing there's just not that, there was a lower amount of people. Yep, we've been slowly seeing a lot less people play Skyrim compared to we've been slowly seeing a lot less people play Skyrim online. So that this shift from May to July, August is the reason we're seeing such a lower dip here. We don't see what happened in June, but we do see that it did go down in these last few months, and it's mostly because not as many people are making content about it compared to previous months. And let's look at if there's any difference. Yeah, there's a bit of a difference as well in the player count. What is this? Build your own play on Go Elite collection. No idea, but it seems like it also has gone down. And we can see how it's gone down even in player count in recent months and recent weeks. So overall, the game has always maintained a pretty good standing, but it seems like it recently went down, and that could be a seasonal thing. There's been a lot of really nice releases recently. I imagine that it's a lot of people's comfort game. So a lot of people play this game and then or they play whatever's coming out new and they enjoy it for a while, and then when they feel like they have nothing new to play, or they don't know what to play, they go back to Skyrim. So we might see that raise its value again at some point. But yeah, so that's Skyrim. Overall, once again, like I mentioned before, AAA games usually see from 100 to 500 gems, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Skyrim being as old as it is, it's seeing a little bit lower than 100, but still, its value is super good. I just got in a new free paid game on Steam. Just found out about it from SteamDB. Oh, really? Oh, so it's like Steam randomly gives out the free games. That's one of the reasons why Steam has such a long, like, a lot of people have such a long backlog on Steam, and it's because they keep getting free games or like games on huge discounts, and they just go monkey brain, gotta get more bananas. So they see a game and it's like, give me that, give me that, give me that. And then when they're looking at their repertoire of all their games, they're like, I don't want to play any of these. I'm good. No, is there nothing new? Let's go back to Skyrim. And they just play the same thing. So, yeah, that I have a friend actually who has a list of 1,000 games in his Steam account. And I ask him, like, why? Why do you? It's like, oh, well, it's free games, or it's like cheap games. It's just more. And I'm like, dude, I have decision paralysis by just the few amount of games. Like, I have like on Steam probably like 50 games, and it's the same, not the same account, but it's like I haven't gotten too many games on Steam, and it's wild. It's like a bantful of games that haven't even been touched. Yeah, dude. Seeing 1,000 games you haven't even like gotten. I mean, let's be honest. We're in the digital world. It's not like when you're buying a physical copy, which I think you could justify it more. Because if you buy a physical copy, at any point, you can just boot it up and just play the physical copy. But in digital, the sad reality right now is that you don't really own anything that's digital. So you have that 1,000 games, but if you don't play them, easily, like, 20% of them could just end up not, like, just disappearing one day, and just not being able to even play them. So it's wild to me to have such a long list. Every single game that I get, I do intend to play, unless I end up with one of the situations where your friend tells you, oh, I want to play this game. It's like, okay, let's get that game. And then you never play it, even though they told you that they were going to totally play it with you. Hell, I have a game in my library that was unlisted from Steam. That's what I mean. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you would have a game that was banned from Steam and you still have it, right? So, like, this type of things happen all the time, especially in Steam. There's even a bunch of games that Steam has gotten better at this, but we were talking about like malicious. There's also a lot of malicious games out there, so you got to know what you actually are downloading. So the fact that people just go like, "Ooh, free game! Ooh, free game! Oh, give me that! Ooh, piece of candy! Ooh, piece of candy!" It's just wild. It's wild. I unless I'm seeing a full sundae on the floor, I ain't picking that up. But, you know, to each their own. You know, there's the people. I get decision paralysis, so I can't have a backlog that large. But I bet that there's people out there that just enjoy having a huge backlog, and I feel like, yeah, I could play anything I want. Like, for example, Helldivers 2 situation where there was a clone. Yeah, Helldivers, that situation was crazy. And even with the Helldivers 2 situation with the whole PlayStation thing, right? When it came out, a lot of people had gotten it on Steam, and then suddenly they couldn't even play it. So that's an example, like two examples of stuff that could happen even with popular games that could happen with you if you just have a giant list of games and you don't play them. If you don't have a physical copy of them, you don't own them. Unless you have an APK, right? Technically, if you have an APK version of a game and you save it on your, like, I don't know, hard drive or something, technically you own that game. You won't be able to do most online stuff, but you technically own it. You could play it. And then nowadays, a lot of games are tied to your to servers, even single player games, which I find ridiculous. That a single player game asks me that I need to be connected to the internet to play it, right? Like that's it sucks that that's a thing that happens. So even when you think you own a single player game, you still have to pay for it. Like in pay for it in another sense, in the sense that you have to like be online to play it at all. So yeah, I mean, Steam Deck is a better option. Steam Deck does have a lot of like offline options for people, but there's a lot of games. Hell, at least games that don't require internet are able to be archived. That's what I mean. Like that's why it's like before you could. Dude, there's a bunch of single player games. I mean, you have Skyrim, for example, single player game. It doesn't require Wi-Fi or anything like that. You could play it offline. You could do whatever you want with it. You can own an actual copy of it yourself. But what was a famous game that required you to be online? I think first, what was that? Starlink? No, that's this Tesla thing. The Crew was one of them too. Yes, The Crew and darn it, the Bethesda game, the space one. I forgot the name. It's like Star something. Let me see if I find it. Bethesda Starfield. Starfield required you to be online for you to play it, and it's a single player game. And I know that initially the excuse initially is that, oh, well, we have bots. Like not bots. We have anti-cheat, and the anti-cheat needs to be online for it to work, and that kind of stuff. But it's like, why do you anti-piracy? My bad. It's not anti-cheat. It's anti-pirating software that they need to have on the game. So you need to be online so that they can ensure you're not pirating the game, right? That's the excuse, and that's the general reason why they go ahead and force you to be online. But still, I find that to be crazy. I mean, back in the day, you had a physical copy. I could just give that to my friend. In fact, back in the day, you could just burn a disc with the exact same data of another disc, and there you go. That's why pirating was so easy. And I understand that culture should not be the case, but I don't know, man. I think that companies nowadays are really are pushing the line a little bit too much on what we as consumers should allow. So yeah, it's wild. This is why I support indie games all the way. I've been playing a lot of indie games recently, way more indie games than I am playing AAA games. Actually, I think that the only AAA games I've played recently, I don't know if we would consider one of the AAA. But first is Doom. I did play Doom, the new one, Dark Ages. Didn't find it super amazing. But I did, however, play what was it? I did play Expedition 33. Expedition 33, amazing game, masterpiece of a game. If it's a single player game, it shouldn't require internet. That's what I mean. It shouldn't. It just shouldn't require internet. And the only reason that they do it is, first, their excuse is the anti-pirating software. But in reality, it's because stuff like I forgot the name again. stuff like Starfield, stuff like Starfield. They take your data, like they are taking different data from you and sending it to their server that you may not know, and that's in the terms and conditions that you. Whenever you start a single player game, now they give you a terms and conditions you have to sign. So that's also something that's also affecting it. Like, for example, Plants vs. Zombies. Plants vs. Zombies doesn't require internet. I agree. Actually, that might change. That might change. You saw the new Plant vs. Zombies like remake that they were talking about on the Nintendo Direct. That one, who knows? Maybe that new version is going to require you to use internet. Yep, the remake trailer. So they might change it. At this point, you should cash in on your on the original Plant vs. Zombies before they go ahead, remove the original one so you can no longer access it, and then just say, oh no, you don't need the new one, the original one, we have this new one. Because that's something else that has happened before. They like, oh, we have this newer version, so let's get rid of all the original versions. So yeah, no, it's crazy, man. But you can't really there's a lot of things out there that just ruin the game if you don't have Wi-Fi on it. I have the copy of Plant vs. Zombies that has the Michael Jackson zombie. Oh, damn, dude. Damn. What copy is that? Like, what year? It has to be like old as hell. Is that the original copy? Or is that like a late? I mean, it has to be like one of the original ones, but that's like wild. When did they remove it? Is basically what I'm asking. But yeah. Well, I I think I'm gonna call it here for today. But with that said, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. The original copy of and Game of the Year didn't really add anything besides Avatar Creator achievements. Okay, gotcha. Well, but with that said, I think I'm gonna call it here today. I thank you very much for joining and in my first stream. It was very nice to have somebody to talk to and to be able to look at some of these games. We'll see if I make this a thing. I plan on making it maybe every Wednesday, going to the list of that people keep making that ever growing list and seeing if every Wednesday I can come and look at the performance of some of these games. Um, and also, I want to obviously get feedback from you guys to know what would you like me to include in the website. I don't know if at some point if it would be interesting to have like a type of like a devlog stream where I'm just like working on the website and asking you guys what you want me to add. Um, but regardless, it's I would love to, you know, engage with you guys more, get your opinions. I want this the website and the algorithm and everything to be as best representative of you as it can be. So getting feedback is always great. So yeah. So probably same stream start time on the 13th. We'll see. We'll see. The only reason I'm not gonna say yes or not is because the 13th is my birthday. Oh wait, is 13th Thursday? Isn't 13th Wednesday? Uh, 13th is Wednesday. Wait, let me check my phone because now nothing is showing me. 13th is Wednesday. Yep, it's Wednesday. So if anything, it'll be the 14th on Thursday. So I'll try to. Oh, did I say Wednesday when I was talking earlier? That might be it. But I'll try. I'll try to like do this more often, maybe on Thursdays, and we can definitely see how this progresses. I'm open to doing a lot of different things. I'm open to playing. I'm open to talking about more games. I'm open to coding with you guys, while having you guys with me. Um, just overall, I like interacting with you guys. I like to get feedback from you guys, and I like to just make this grow this community. I don't know if you're already in the Discord server. I do have a Discord server. Let me see if I can add that link real quick to the chat real quick. So just give me a break while I look it up, because I do not have it up. Discord. And let me get my invite link. Plop, plop, plop. I should probably have like a notepad or something that I can just easily copy paste these things. The other side. Oh, okay. Okay, so you managed to get it through there. So we'll still, it's great to have. Okay, so I'll still add it here just in case somebody sees it. There's just in case somebody sees it. There you go. Welcome it. So yeah, it's just in case somebody sees the chat and the history or whatever, and they want to try it out. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for showing up. This is great, and I hope you enjoyed your time and that you learned a little bit about video games. And I do, I check the news, so I try to keep you guys informed with like stuff that's happening as well. So hopefully we can do this can be a more common thing. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. That is the gaming marketplace, and I will see you hopefully next Thursday. See you then. See you on Thursday.